Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Are you in America, South America, Canada, Europe, YouTube everywhere. So I would love to hear like where you guys are all from. But yes, we are live this morning on your content creators channel here on YouTube. It's such an exciting time, you guys. This is considered the time when most people are getting engaged. So it's like a different part of wedding season. But obviously, is wedding season still, right? It's like the planning portion. It's not just the wedding day. So, we are going to be jumping right into the wedding series this morning. This is your wedding series, so it's planning for your wedding, but we are starting with 14-year-old you. Oh my gosh, I know nobody gets married at 14 anymore. You guys hear me get to say that every single morning, but we are planning starting from the beginning. These are things that are going to give you some life like advice and experiences that are hopefully going to help you with your journey. Oh my gosh, it is going to be amazing. So, we're talking about 14-year-old you, but then we going to fast forward a lot of what we're talking about to the age in which you get engaged. So it's going to be, everybody gets engaged at a different age in their life, right? So we are going to be doing the whole wedding series leading up to your wedding day and giving you some amazing planning tips as well as advice, like life advice when it comes to doing all of this planning because it's a lot of planning. It's a lot of planning. All right, you guys. So, what is all of this about? What is a wedding series? Your wedding series is, most people already know. We talk about it every single morning. But your wedding series is telling your love story. It's planning your wedding through a slew of events that take place, starting with the proposal. Then we have the bridesmaids proposals once you pick your bridal party if you're going to have one. You have your groomsmen's proposals, you have an engagement photo shoot, you have engagement party. Those things usually come like kind of towards the beginning of your wedding series. And then we lead into your bachelorette, bachelor party, hen do party, depending on what part of the world you're from. Then we have the wedding shower, bridal shower. We also have the reception dinner, as well as the reception dinner, rehearsal dinner, as well as the rehearsal itself. And we also sometimes have people who have welcome parties. You don't have to have all of these events. To continue, you will also sometimes have people that make it a whole event to get ready with them the morning of their wedding. They're so excited. So it's a to do. And then we go into the wedding ceremony and the wedding reception. Some people have an after party. Some people have a goodbye party for those who came out and don't live in the same place as them, or if they did like an elopement, like somewhere on a destination, they'll do like a goodbye like brunch or something the next day. Now, like I said, you don't have to do all of these. These are just for people who want to do a lot of wedding events for their wedding series, to tell their story, to plan out their wedding before they even get to the big day. Now, why am I here? For those of you that have been here every single day, you definitely know the answer to this. I'm here because as your content creator, I provide affordable videography as well as live streaming any of your wedding series of events. So, all of those events that I mentioned, I'm right there by your side. I'm capturing it all. And why do I do that? So that you and your guests can remain hands free. Get those cell phones out of your hands. You don't want your bridesmaids trying to capture the moment while you're at the dress shop. You want them to be taking it all in, of looking at you. You want everyone looking at you, even on your wedding day. If you walk down the aisle and there's a slew of cell phones in your face, that's not going to be fun. That's not fun. I've seen it tons of times. And if you are going to have somebody with a cell phone, you want someone that's focused on you as the bride and groom, your family members, your bridal party, as well as all the guests. Whereas most of the time when people do have a cell phone in their hands, it's to look so cute posing for their own pictures at your wedding, which is great. But then you don't get a lot of that footage that really gets to tell the entire story, which is your story. So Yeah, I'm your personal paparazzi. I am your personal paparazzi, and I'm going to capture all of that footage for you. And you get it in like 24 to 48 hours. But we'll learn more about me as we go along all of these planning episodes, okay, and advice. So, lights, camera, action. Let's start this show. Here's a little advice to help your story unfold. Y'all, listen. Let's talk about what episode that we are in today. It's a good one. It is a good one. It's a really, really good episode. And I hope that you guys are taking notes on these because we are in Your Wedding Series, episode 6. And we're talking about the right way to date in today's world, preparing for marriage before he proposes. So that is our topic for today. Like I said, I hope that you're taking notes because we're gonna jump right in. Ooh, that is definitely different. This morning I'm having a little bit of rice milk. We get it from our favorite Asian market here in town. That is different. That is different than my tea each morning. A little bit chilled because I didn't add tea to it to make it hot, but that is really good. All right. Dating with purpose. Dating for marriage. So this isn't going to be your regular dating. This isn't going to be, let me just see, let me just date around, let me just be with tons of people type of advice here. No, we're talking about dating for marriage. It's definitely not casual, it's intentional. Okay. Dating for marriage is intentional. You are focused as both the man and the woman. Okay. So both are focused on dating for marriage. This is for people who are dating for marriage. Now, if you're not dating for marriage, you might want to just turn this video off. Like, you don't really care. You're going to have a lot of opinion and you can put it in the comments. You could talk about it, but it's not going to really pertain to what we are talking about. So, dating for marriage. All right. Like we said, it is not casual. The focus is on finding someone who aligns with your goals, your morals, your values, your faith. So the focus is finding somebody that fits and aligns with that. Now, are there going to be people out there that are going to fit perfectly into this? Like, whenever you were younger, you tried to put like the little like shapes into like the right box and you try to like make it fit, right? You did your best. But sometimes you try to put a circle into the square space because, like, you're still young, you're still learning, right? As we are adults now, we don't want to be trying to change people. They were supposed to be working on themselves starting at 14. Remember, that's what this series has been about. So, starting at 14, if you go back to episodes 1 through 5, we talked about 14-year-old you all the way through finishing high school or college. So, they should have been working on themselves during these years. So, it's not up to you to be looking for someone that you can change. Okay? You're looking for someone who aligns, and you've already been thinking about your values, your morals, your faith. You've been thinking about all of these beautiful things, right? Prior to getting to this stage of your life, prior to dating for marriage. Okay. Hopefully you weren't dating for anything else prior to this at all. And you've been focused on dating for marriage. Hopefully. But I know that many people don't, and that's okay. That's why we're here to get some advice on how to do this. Okay. So we're going to be talking about setting personal um, setting personal standards. So obviously this is something that we've been talking about quite a bit in these episodes, but specifically for men, what do you think your standards are at this time in your life? What do you think that they are? What do you how are you being deliberate in yourself as a person? Have you thought about those things? Women, have you thought about who you are? These are things that we were talking about on our journey from 14 throughout finishing high school and college. We're also going to be talking about the importance of um, things that are shared. So, things that are like sharedness, things that are alike, things that are similar to one another. But we don't want everything to be similar. Obviously, we remember that opposites attract, but it is important to have some things that do align. If one person celebrates Christmas and the other person celebrates Hanukkah or doesn't celebrate Christmas at all, this is going to be a very difficult union. This is going to be very, very hard. Now, I'm not saying that you can't marry someone who doesn't celebrate Christmas or who does celebrate Christmas. I'm just saying that your journey is going to be difficult. And that's in a lot of things. If you guys are a different ethnic background, if you guys grew up in different states, it's going to be some challenges that come along, okay? We're not saying that it's not impossible. But what I'm saying is that it's going to be challenging in some ways, okay? So let's get into part 10, part 2. Part 2, the man's perspective. Seeking a wife and mother for his children. Okay, let's keep going. So let's talk about part 2 when we're talking about the man's perspective. Seeking a wife and mother for his children. I know. We're taking a pause. Qualities to look for in a wife. Men, at this point, when you start dating for marriage, you should have already been thinking about how you want to vision for your marriage, what that looks like. Like we said, it's not perfect. No one's telling us to live in a fairy tale. No one's telling you that it's going to be perfect. Okay. But to start getting those ideas forming. Now, when we talk about looking for a wife, right now we're talking about the man's perspective. Men, this is for you, looking for a wife. Supportive, nurturing, and align with your vision for the future. Prepare to be a partner and a mother. Now, if you meet people, if you meet a woman who isn't supportive in your career, isn't supportive in who you are as a person, isn't supportive in your morals, why would you want to be with this person? Why would you want to spend the rest of your life with this person? You have to go deeper than skin. It can't just be skin deep. You've got to go deeper than that, you guys. You've got to really get to know somebody. And I say skin deep because I'm talking about beauty. Most men are just looking for the most prettiest, most beautiful woman that they can find, but yet they don't even know how to brush their teeth in the morning as a man. They don't know how to shave their face. They don't know how to comb their hair. Like, they don't even know how to put clothes together for different, you know, um, events and life things that they have going on, for work, for school, for play. They don't know how to put things together just to travel. But yet they're looking for the most prettiest, smartest person in the room anytime they go anywhere. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? You've got to work on yourself and you need to be up to par to that woman. I see so many people, so many men that are out here really, really, really searching for the most perfect girl. And it's awful because they have this standard of beauty that the world has told them the standard of beauty is. And you guys know what I'm talking about. The most I'm not even gonna go. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go there. You guys know what I'm saying here. You can fill in the blanks with whatever you want of what you think the standard of beauty is, right? And then what you do is you go compare every single person, every single woman in the room, wherever you go, to that standard. Is that even fair? No, it's not. It's not. It's downright sad because it's not realistic. And so this advice is helping you to see that. Okay? It's helping you to do better. Okay? Like I said, you don't have to take any of this advice. You can do whatever you want. You can keep trying to look for that person. And all I'm saying is it's really difficult in the marriage when you do that. Now, I know some people have seen these couples that it's like, oh my gosh, they literally look like brother and sister. I can't believe that they got married. They look so similar. Sometimes you're attracted to yourself. Sometimes you are attracted to who you are, yourself, and all the qualities and all the prettiness that you are. And so that's okay. That's okay. That's what you wanted, right? So let's keep going because I can like to have children. You're looking for someone who is like actually out there preparing to become a mother. Okay. Women, you know what I'm talking about. We talked about it in our first 5 episodes. Go back and watch those if you need to for a refresher. Becoming the right husband. So during this part of your life, when you're out here trying to find this perfect woman, this perfect wife, right? You're also becoming the right husband. You can't leave yourself out of all of this, okay? So as you are becoming the right husband, you are going to be taking times to develop, all the things we talked about before. Active listening, being a supportive husband, being a helpmate, helping around the house, doing the maintenance around the house, or at least having someone on speed dial who knows how to unclog a toilet if you don't want to do it. Okay, if you don't want to do the lawn, you've got someone on speed dial that you trust to be doing the lawn upkeep. Okay, so practicing responsibility in daily life. So you are practicing those things as well, men. How men should spend their time. All right, guys, this is good. Building a career, learning life skills, and growing spiritually. Pursuing hobbies and activities that align with their future vision of family life. So it's important to be working on your career right now. If you're going to be out here looking for a wife, you can't just have no job, no career, no aspirations, no goals. You got to be working on that stuff. Hopefully, you've already kind of like have a good grasp on it and you already are walking in that. You already are doing said things, okay? You're not just like preparing and looking still. From 14 to about age 22, hopefully you've already kind of like um figured all that out and you've already started working in the type of career that you see for yourself as your future husband, your husband's self. Okay. You're not a husband yet. We're talking about being your future husband. So we got to get some preparation for it. Okay. Gotta get some preparation for it. And so you're also pursuing hobbies and activities that also align with like you being a future husband. Maybe you really enjoy kickball. Maybe you like being on an ultimate league, like a league that you had to set aside some money for in order to be a part of and participate in, but it's something that you really, really enjoy. Maybe you are a part of a basketball league and every year they make you buy like a jersey or something or whatever it is, or you have to pay for the practice space that you guys have. I don't know. But being able to start putting all these things into perspective is important at this point. And that way, when the lady comes along, it's like, yeah, I've got these things going for myself. I have been working on myself spiritually. I get myself together every single day and I check in on myself, on my mental health, things like that. So that once you do find that person that you're ready to date for a marriage, you have a good grasp on who you are and what you're bringing to this relationship. Okay, let's go on to part 3, the female's perspective, preparing for becoming a wife, preparing for becoming a mother. Okay, qualities, qualities of a future wife and mother: being emotionally strong. That's an amazing note that I have for us. Nurturing and being adaptable. Yeah, guys, you've got to be adaptable. Things could change. Things could not go exactly how you thought it was going to be when it comes to raising children. I know people recently, like literally recently within the last few years, that are having children and they're being born with autism. And so it's really, really sad. And it hurts my heart because there are reasons why this is today at any cost. And trust me, they are paying a cost for choosing those routes. Okay. And so it's very, very difficult. And so my good friends that this is happening to have now had to learn how to be adaptive and not understanding like what is going, like how did this happen, like they know how it happened, they just don't want to accept it. They don't want to accept it. But let's look at some of the other parts about who you're becoming. You're becoming emotionally strong and nurturing. So I know my mom, my mom has always been so strong, and our entire life, she's been like the strongest person, the strongest woman for sure that I've ever known emotionally. Like she is like a rock. And I know whenever I'd be crying, she'd be like, "No, you hush up all that crying now." And so, it's like she just saw life differently than like me. And so recently we've had a death in the family, and this person very, very close to all of us, and I've had to be the emotional rock. And that you're really, really, really adult and not just like the baby, the child in the family, when you're the one that's the emotional rock for your mom, especially. You've been there for your friends, you've been there for your husband, you've been there for your siblings, but when you are there for your mom, there's just something about it, you guys. There's something about it. Let's keep going. um you're preparing to be a support to your family while maintaining individuality. So you're focusing on being and preparing to be a support to the family, but you also have to remember your individuality. And I definitely love this about watching my mom be a mother. She still had like who she is as a person. Like she didn't lose like her identity because she all of a sudden has 3 children. You know what I mean? Like she didn't lose that. She didn't become, look in the mirror and become, oh wow, like somebody completely different. And I know like I've not met, but I've seen this in my friends where it's like I don't even recognize them anymore. Like, what happened? I get like being a mother and things like that, but like they're like completely different to the point of like if you don't have children, they don't even want to like hang out with you. They only want to hang out with like other moms who have children. And like that's fine, but like how do you think your friends feel who don't have children or who've tried to have children in their marriages and like they don't have them, and now like you were like one of their best friends and like you're not even around anymore? So don't lose like your individuality, don't lose like a sight of who you are, your identity, in being a part of your family. Okay, the next point we're going to make is becoming the right partner. Oh yes, becoming the right partner. And this is practicing self care, personal growth, and household management. So obviously when it comes to self-care, that's taking care of yourself. You've got to be healthy before you can take care of anybody else. You've got to be healthy for yourself, okay? So you got to be taking your vitamins, you got to be eating right, you got to be exercising, you got to be meal prepping, not just for the family but also for you, okay? I know your kids need lunches for school and your husband needs his lunch on the way out the door to go to work, but you also need to be preparing what you're going to be having for lunch that day. Okay. A lot of times we can forget about ourselves and just be preparing everything for the family, but not for ourselves. So, and then let's see, as well as personal growth. So, personal growth is going to have to do with you just making sure that, like, you are growing as a human being as well. I know that, like I said, we get very focused on everyone else and how they're doing and how their personal growth is going. But what about your personal growth? Are you still stuck? You know, are you still stuck mentally and not able to move on to, like, who you are today? And so it's important that, like, you continue to get strong in who you are, okay? So making sure that you check in with yourself and being like, "Oh, it's been a year. Let's see how my personal growth is actually going." Okay? So let's see what else. And of course, household management. We have talked about household management, and that's just learning how to have a schedule for the family. There's lots of things going on. There's lots of people's schedules that you got to keep in charge with the children's schedules, your husband's schedules, and then as a family, your own schedule as well. Like if you got spa time, if you got, doctor's appointments, all kinds of stuff that you've got to kind of like wrap into along with all the household chores. It's a job, guys. It's a job. Being a mother, being a wife, it is a job. I don't care what nobody says. There is work to be done. Okay. And so you do have to manage all of that. We're also talking about gaining experience with children. So we've talked about this before until we're blue in the face. We know, make sure that you're preparing by babysitting other people's kids. Maybe you can also volunteer at some form of facility in order to get this extra experience. Not saying you have to go and like work a job full time at a nursery in order to get this experience. Just saying here and there, babysit, volunteer, maybe take care of your siblings' children or your siblings if they're still young and living at home with parents, small children. When the next portion we're talking about is how women should spend their time. So just like we were talking about the men, now we're talking about how women should spend their time. Building financial independence while saving for the future. Men, you are doing the exact same thing. Cultivating skills like cooking, budgeting, and um, conflict resolution. We've talked about those. Focusing on faith, friendships, and personal pursuits. And we've also talked about all of those as well, guys. We're on a roll. Like all of these, you're just going to be continuing, right? You're just going to be continuing to get better in them. You're not stopping, especially now, because now we're dating for marriage. And so we don't want to, stop this great thing that we have going on with all of this personal growth in our life. Moving on to part 4, navigating dating as young adults. Let's start with the men. So now we're moving on to actually navigating dating as young adults. Date with intention and respect. Now, when we talk about dating for intention, we did mention that obviously we're dating the right way for marriage in today's world. Okay. But speaking of respect, you want to respect the lady, but you also want to respect yourself. So you're going to be respecting both of your bodies. Okay. So no disrespecting of each other, and having the proper language as well to one another, but also treating one another with the utmost respect. Guys, if you don't know what that means, email me. Email me and we will talk more about this. Okay. We will have a conversation. But please remember, treat each other's bodies with respect as well as just each other as human beings with respect. Seek women who reflect the qualities of a good wife and mother to be. So you're going to be seeking, like we said before, those women who are exuding these qualities. We're not out here trying to change anybody. For the women, be patient and avoid settling for someone who doesn't align with your morals, standards, and goals. So, ladies, this is what you're doing during this time. You're going to be patient. Be patient and do not settle. Just because you are 40 years old and you still live at home with your parents and you still don't have anyone dating you with the intention of marriage doesn't mean that when the next guy comes along, you're like, that's it, I'm 40, I don't care. What if he asks me to be his wife? Like, I'm gonna marry him, or I'm gonna start playing house with him because I need to move out of my parents' house. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hear me loud and clear. Okay. Do I need to ring the bell? Are you guys awake? Don't do that. Okay. Stay patient. You don't know what is in store for you. You don't know what kind of blessings are around the corner for you. So don't go stepping out on yourself and being impatient. Wait for that right man to come along in your life. Okay. Let's see. Prioritize preparing for marriage over choosing relationships. So, over chasing relationships. So it's the exact same thing. You don't want to be chasing somebody, okay? So women, you're not out here chasing these men down, trying to propose to whoever and like asking them to be your husband and this and that. Please don't do that. You're looking desperate. I don't care like what people tell you, in the outside world out here. Like, no, the women can propose to men. Don't do that. Allow that man to propose to you. Okay. And men, you need to get stronger. You need to not be coerced. You need to not be like so weak minded that like women are telling you what to do. Like, oh, he needs to propose to me or I'm out of here. Let her leave. Let her leave. Okay. Let her go. You should not be living with each other. You should only be dating for marriage. We're going to talk more in detail about what exactly that looks like when I say dating for marriage. But these are kind of like some little like foundations right now that I'm setting for that next episode. Okay. So you guys will understand more on how they go together. But it's important that you don't just allow yourself to be bamboozled, and anybody that comes along, any woman that comes along that's like, oh, I really want to marry you, will you marry me? And then you just like do something that like it's not the right person. You say yes to that person, and like, no, men, you propose to the women. Now listen, y'all don't have to take my advice. Y'all don't have to do it. I am just here to give some advice and some good learning adulthood tips for your life. That's all that I'm doing. That's all that I'm doing. So you don't have to take it. You don't have to like it. Okay. But it is for today's world. It is for yesterday's world. And it's for the future world. Okay. It's for all the times in the world. This is it. This is the right way. Whether you've done it in the past or not, whether you're trying to get back on track, whether you want to start from the beginning and just get it right, and you're at 14-year-old you and you started with episode 1 and now you're in episode 6, you are getting an understanding of how this thing goes before ever being proposed to, ever getting engaged. Okay. So you want to set boundaries and communicate with intentions clearly from the start. So women, you want to make it clear. No, you're not coming in my house. No, this and that. Like, make it clear about dating for marriage. Make it clear from the beginning so that that man is not surprised. And men, you're doing the same thing. It's not just her that's telling you no, no, no. You're going to be telling her no, no, no as well when it comes to being disrespectful to each other's bodies and stuff like that. Okay. Just no. The answer is no. And you won't find yourself in that situation anyway if you don't put yourself in places where you shouldn't be. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. Now, let's do let's do a quick recap. Guys, I'm telling you right now, we are going to get to planning the wedding, the proposal, and all that good stuff, and part of the wedding series events, planning your wedding reception, your ceremony, all that. We're going to get there. For any of you that are impatient right now, we will get there. But you need these foundations, these fundamentals, okay, to help you build a strong marriage in the future. Okay, it's just going to help. Take all the advice you can get, seriously, when it comes to life, when it comes to these things, and then do what you want, like pick and choose, throw stuff out, use some discernment, but take it all right now. Soak it in, take it all. So on our recap, men, what you're doing when you're dating for marriage, you're dating with intention. You are looking for a wife. Women, ladies, what are you doing during this time in your life? You're waiting patiently, okay, for that man to come along and ask you to date with intentions for marriage, okay? To be dating with intentions for marriage. It's not your regular dating. It's not some casual nonsense, okay? We're getting it together. We're getting our lives together here, okay? Guys, it's getting spicy. The next episode is going to be even more spicier than this one when we talk about dating in today's world. We're going to go there. We're going to go there on the things you need to say no to. I will definitely see you guys in our next episode. So I hope that you've enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.